Welcome back to Fox Race TV. If you're new to lure fishing or just looking to expand your skills, this should be the perfect video for you. So today we're going to look at the jig, the drop shot and the Texas rig, which are three absolutely essential rigs for perch fishing. We're going to show you how to tie them and how to fish them on this canal today. So yeah, we've also got some great Fox Race products today that we're going to be doing a giveaway with later on in the video, so stay tuned for that. And now, it's been lashing it down already this morning, it's still raining now, so let's go and get on with it and find some fish. So rig one and how I'm going to be starting today is going to be the jig. The jig's a real classic and it's just probably the most common way that a lure's fished, especially in the UK and probably around the world as well. The main reason I'm starting with the jig today is because I haven't fished this venue before, I haven't fished this part of the venue, so I'm going to be covering a lot of ground and you know, I just want to move fast and the jig's really good at moving fast. I tend to fish on the bottom with the jig, but you don't have to by any means. Yeah, I'm going to start off with a 7cm. Now I'll probably go down in size. A 7's, it's not massive for a small canal like this, but it is on the bigger end really is what I tend to fish. So we'll see how the fishing goes. If I'm not getting bites, I'll downscale this right down. And when it comes to the components, it really couldn't be any simpler. It's just a lure. This lure can be anything from a shad, it can be a creature bait, it can be a floating bait, it can be a V-tail, a fork tail, literally anything. And then just the jig head itself, which is a weighted hook, and obviously the hook has to be sized appropriately. I'm only fishing 2 grams today as it's quite a shallow canal. So let's make a start and I'll show you how to tie it on and how to rig it up. So when it comes to tying a jig, it couldn't be any simpler. So literally just get a jig. It's more about choosing the actual weight that you want. In this case, I'm only using 2 grams. The canal's not very deep at all. I'm just going to tie a clinch knot. So I'm just going to pinch the line there. And I'm just going to wrap this around 6 times. And then we're going to come back through the eye. And then cinch that down there. And then trim the tag end off. From there, we've just got to thread the hook on, and the hook is going to sit inside the bait like that. So once you go down flat, you can take a look and make a note. I mean, once you've done a few of them, you kind of get used to where it's going to come out. But I'm just going to start threading, trying to keep it straight and as central to the bait as I can. And I'm going to fold round, and it should sit in a natural position like that on the hook. And that's perfect. You don't really want a big gap here, and you want to make sure the bait's not twisted or bent. And that is it. But usually it's tiny little jacks. There we go. Climbing the ladder slowly. On the micro spiky again. Just gone down small. It is pretty tough, but it's a nice fish. It's quite deep in it for such a tiny fish, like a mini 4-pounder. Yeah, I'm sure we can get more. We've actually caught quite a few on the jig now. The fishing is slow. I've had 2 really good bites. They're probably little jacks. I'll just say when I got the bite that. Oh, there's another perch. Or maybe a better perch. Oh, he's off. Yeah, be looking for a spot like this. It's just got a few fish in it. You can just get a few. It's been, we've done about a mile so far for some fish about this big. But I haven't fished the venue before, or not this end. So it's just exploring a little bit and learning at the same time. But yeah, these bites, we've had 2 really sharp bites. And as far as I know, there's not really zander in here. There's potential for them to be in here because they're in the river either side, but just really good and solid bites that I struck into thin air on both times. But they could well be a little really small pike. Like sometimes they'll just accelerate at such a speed they'll give you a right dink. Or they could be big perch, but I'd argue I'd be hooking them if they were perch. But yeah, so you've seen how we rig the jig, so let's talk about fishing it a little bit. I've started with the jig today, especially this is a new venue for me, so I'm covering a lot of ground. This time of year as well, we're not into, that's a snag, we're not into the depths of winter yet. but obviously the fish are still quite spread out. So we've covered about a mile already today. Had a few, started really poor, bumped into a few fish, and then we've caught a couple now. So I'll talk you through the whole process of fishing the jig, sort of through the whole cast. And what we're going to do is just cast out. Today they're down the track, so it's not mega important that we get right over the backside. But I'm a sucker for fishing structure, so there's a little tree here that I'm casting round. And I'm going to wait until it's on the bottom. I'm just going to make a turn or half a turn of the reel, and usually just bounce the tip a little bit. And that is literally all I'll do with a jig. There's a lot of nuance to a jig. You can fish it in a million different ways, but to get started and catching fish, and what I think is the most effective way, you're just going to lift it up a little bit, twitch, and then you're going to touch back down. You can often feel it touch back down through the rod, but I always think if you can feel it too well, you're probably fishing a little bit heavy. So what I tend to do is watch my line as it cuts into the water. Because even if there's wind, you'll see it hold tension, and then the tension, or you'll see the tension just come off. And then you can just wait, usually a second, sometimes half a second, and that's something you can really play around with, the length of time you wait on the bottom, the speed and how aggressive you twitch it. But generally you want to go a lot slower than what you think. Something I see with beginners all the time, it's generally you want to be a lot slower than what you think you need to be. But yeah, so I'll just run through that again. I'm going to cast over the backside. Again, I'm going to wait until I touch the bottom. Sometimes I like to give it a little while, especially if you're fishing near like a tree or something, you can just wait a little bit. Ooh. But yeah, I'm just going to cast out. I'm on the bottom now. Well, that's a fish. There we go, that one hit it literally just as it touched the bottom. So there you go, we'll probably wrap it up there with a jig and move on to the drop shot. But yeah, no monsters, but gets you catching fish. The jig is always one of them things you should never be without. Guys, again, it's a much nicer fish. We're just fishing this little, it's literally a culvert, and it's all about 6 inches deep, and there's one little deep hole where it weighs out. But it's amazing where they'll live and where they'll thrive. I've just dropped one that was probably a better fish that did me in a tree. Yeah, I catch fish like that all day. On the drop shot again, yeah, beautiful fish. We're getting put back. So rig number 2 is going to be the drop shot. Now everybody knows the drop shot, and it's just one of them super staple, like one of them staples of finesse fishing. Today I'm going to be using it for actually targeting bigger fish. I'm going to go a little bit bigger on it, and with the height I can just sort of sit the bait like right in front of the fish's face, and where I think like a bigger one would be sat, if that makes sense. But there's a lot of reasons why people use a drop shot or go to it. One reason can be adding more weight. If you want to fish far out or in deep water, you can still fish a small lure with a lot of weight on. Obviously if that was done with a jig, the jig would just get massive in comparison. So yeah, you can use a drop shot for going like really micro. You can use it for casting really far, or you can use it like this. I'm going short range fishing, but I'm just going to use it for trying to upsize the fish a little bit, using like a chunkier bait and just hanging it just off the bottom, and the perch respond to that quite a lot. The other good thing with a drop shot is you can just hold it in place. Obviously, you know, on the days where they might not be up for a chase so much, you tend to fish a drop shot a lot slower, so you can hold it down like next to a wall, on the back of a bridge, and again you can add a bit more weight to help you out with that. So the only components you're going to need for tying a drop shot is a hook, your choice of lure, and your drop shot weight. And now I'm going to show you how to tie it. So to tie a drop shot rig, all we're going to do is we're going to thread the hook on, hook point up, as in back towards your rod. Obviously we want to leave enough line for the height, and we're going to fish the rig. So I'm just going to pull out like 8 inches or so on here. And the tying a drop shot is the easiest knot in fishing. All you need to do, it's got me again, is we're going to make a loop in the line. So it'll literally just pass around itself. We're going to pinch it there, bring the hook around, and then literally just twist the hook around in the middle of that loop 3 times. So it's once, twice, and 3. And then we can pull that down a bit. Always best to wet just a little bit. And then once it gets a bit close, you can kind of force it into position and just hold it tight like that. That is literally it. It's a little round loop. But yeah, and then your hook should stand straight up like that, straight upright like that, hook point up. So yeah, then all we need to do is just slide the line through the eye on the drop shot weight, and then we can change how deep we've got it. I've been fishing around 5 inches today, something like that. And then I'm just going to pull that up there, and that's going to stay where it is. Right guys, so I showed you how to tie a drop shot, and I'm going to show you how to fish it, or at least really simply. And it's a really easy rig to fish the drop shot. Obviously I've got a little bit more weight on. I've only got I think it's the 3.5 I've got on here. I'm literally just going to let it touch the bottom, and instead of like moving it with the reel and doing like I was doing before, I'm just going to drag it across the bottom. Just very gently drag it. And really the drop shot just wants to sit there like sort of in their eye line. I've only got this one up about 5 inches high. It's the shallow water, and I'm fishing like the back shelves as well. I'm literally just going to pull it, and I'm just going to reel the slack in, not moving the drop shot when I reel, and just drag it across the bottom. But drop shot's also really good if you're fishing hard structure like the inside edge walls. You can just drop it down the walls and just hold it still. Very, very minimalist. You really don't need to do too much. Just make one more quick cast and show you again. So yeah, I'm on the bottom now. Like I said, I'm fishing the back shelf, it's really shallow. And I'm literally just going to wind the slack in, and I'm just going to pull it towards me. And again, the drop shot's super effective, especially the colder it gets as well, the better it seems to be. You can also fish like a shad on a drop shot and fish it quite fast. Drop shot's also really good at fishing like deep water, but you can fish it just fine in shallow. Well, here we go, it's got another one on the drop shot, and we're probably going to wrap it up again now. But again, as you can see what I was saying, going for that creature bait on the drop shot's definitely helped on the size of the fish. This one's super lively, but it's actually a really fat little fish. It's a lovely frame little fish. But yeah, you know, again, you can't complain, I don't think, when you're catching fish like this all day. No monsters, but hopefully we'll go a bit bigger. Now we're going to move on to a Texas rig. A Texas, I've got a lot more sort of experience fishing for big fish. It's what I always used to do. It's the way I always used to target big fish. So we're going to go on to that now and see if we can find a better fish, and hopefully we can show you that. And here we go guys, we finally bumped into a better fish. Again, being to the 30s, lovely. Again, just fishing a canal like this, it's always nice to get a better fish. I didn't expect anything massive, I didn't expect any 40s today. But that's a fine fish for me, I'm happy with that. Again, just on the Texas rig, fishing my funky worm on a Texas. It's all a bit dishevelled at the minute, I just pulled it out its mouth. But, you know, again, it's just that's why we use the Texas rig. We fish it for bigger fish, and it just works, especially with like a floating bait. It's very good. I love it with a creature bait as well. But yeah, we'll stick this one back. Here we go. Oh, we're melting them now. That one's just spat some bit up. Oh, it's just a little fish, it sank. Well, we're getting bigger and bigger all the time. That's it's a beautiful looking fish. Really nice fish, solid fish. Again, I'm fishing really light on this, and these fish are, I mentioned earlier that I thought the bigger ones would be shallow. It's really shallow on the back edge, and there's like a thick weed line and some trees and bushes. And I'm just fishing this really light Texas. I'm getting as close to the bank as I can. And when I get a better one, they're on it straight away. Yeah, we're going to give it a few more casts, see if we can get any more, and then I'll talk to you about how we fish it. So my third and final rig today is going to be the Texas rig. I absolutely love the Texas rig, and I've probably caught more big perch on a Texas rig than anything else. What's so special about the Texas rig is it allows you to fish into really snaggy places. rocks, even trees and brush and things like that, like you really just come through it. And it's all because of this hook here. It's sort of buried in the bait. It's a really good way of targeting big perch, and I always, if I'm trying to force a bigger perch, this is my go-to method for doing that. Another great thing about the Texas rig is it really just opens up venues for you to fish that you otherwise couldn't. When I first started perch fishing, there was a lot of places I'd just fish on like a drop shot or a shad or a jig, and really, like, you just couldn't fish it effectively at all. With a Texas rig, you can just like get right into the weed, right under the boats, really weedy venues, and it really changes the way you fish for big perch. So these are the components that you need. It's just a bullet weight. I always leave it free running, an EWG hook, and whatever lure that you choose. Today I'm using a TPE. It's one of our funky worms. It's a TPE, it's a floating bait, but I use these on like fork tails like the slick finesse. I use them with shads when I need to, and if it's really weedy. I use them on creature baits mainly. That's one of my favourite things to throw on them. So yeah, there's just an endless amount of baits that you can use on a Texas rig, and I'm now going to show you how to tie it. So to tie the Texas rig, all we're going to do is slide the weight on, pointy end first. This end goes towards your rod. After that, we're going to attach an EWG, an offset hook, or a weedless hook as some people call them. I always tie with a clinch knot. I just go around 6 times. And then go back through the eye and pull tight there. Always helps to wet your knots. And that's it. And then you can clip your tag end off. I'm a savage, so I usually just bite them. So the hook is going to sit inside the bait like this. The first thing we have to do is get that 90-degree bend in the front side. And how you do that is just plunge in to the depth of the point, and then this now has got to come out sideways at 90 degrees. So I'm going to twist straight 90 degrees and come out the side. All you have to do after that, then we're just going to slide the bait, and once you get to this bit, the bait's going to twist around to go on the other side. And it should sit straight like that down the length of the bait. Now we can clearly see where the hook needs to go through. Let's say it's on this ridge here. So I'm just going to bend that up towards myself, and then I'm going to go straight through. So we're going to go straight through the bait that way, and that is literally it. It's then sat in there nice, it's nice and weedless. You can prick the tip inside the bait if you really wanted to, if you wanted to make it extra weedless. So that's the Texas rig tied and ready to go. So I've shown you how to tie the Texas rig, and now I'm going to show you how to fish it. Like many rigs, a Texas rig can be fished in many different ways. For me, really, it's going to be a bit of a combination between the jig and the drop shot in sort of the way I move it. I'll often fish the rod a bit lower down with a Tex, although you don't have to, but I'm just going to scoot it across the bottom and just wiggle the tip of the rod. So I'm effectively going to like scutch it like that. I'm just going to take a bit of line in, and I'm actually going to reel the bait in while I just like tap at the line. I'm fishing really light in this canal. I've only got like 1.8 grams on, and I often fish my Texas rig really light. You can get away with fishing heavier, but yeah, it's just how I tend to fish it. I always like the light. I like the really slow fall because I tend to fish against structure under trees where the fish might be right there where I'm casting. So yeah, I've just cast in again. All I'm going to do is as I reel in a little bit, I'm just going to tap the line. You tend to more like tap the bow in the slack than you do the lure itself. But it is really simple. You're just going to scooch it along a little bit and just give the tip a little wiggle. And that's 9 times out of 10, that's how I fish a Texas rig. The speed of it all depends on the fish. I tend to fish slow, and I'll go slower and slower until I get a bite, and then I tend to start speeding it up. You know, you can leave a Texas rig in between moving it for a long time, and especially in the depths of winter, you'll get bites after 10 seconds. Honestly, it's ridiculous. But again, a bit like I was saying on the other methods, people often go wrong with perch fishing by going too fast and they end up like too high in the water. So you just want to make sure you sock on the bottom. I'm just going to reel a bit of slack in and just give it a tap. And then I'm just going to wait a second. And again, the moving it's going to get the fish interested, but they're usually going to pick it up when you stop, especially as it gets colder. And you're just going to wait for that bite. Because Texas, I always fish it free running, so it'll slide straight through the weight. You get really good bites on it. And also on the big fish, when they do take it, you tend to get a second to strike as well. Like they don't really feel the weight, especially when you're fishing light. Don't be a pike. Oh, it's a perch, it's a perch. Woo! Oh, that's what we're looking for. It is not a monster, but it just shows you, like, yeah, it's been nice to show going through that, like, going up to a Texas and looking for that bigger fish. Like, it really works. I had a couple of better bites here earlier. But yeah, there's my funky worm. Again, like I was just saying, it's just lovely to, it's really nice to see when you go to a Texas and fish a bigger fish method for it to actually work. I've fished all the way through this today, this morning, and not had anything decent. And it's not a massive fish, but you know, it'd be 35 centimetres or so, 38 maybe. Bit of a longer one. It's always nice to get a big perch in it. So here we are, just get a better look at this one. And again, you know, it's not a huge fish, but coming out and fishing a canal like this, you know, you've got to be happy with something like that. It's a small canal and it's a lovely fish. You know, I was hoping we'd bump into a decent fish. And what I really like, as I said before, I really like just showing that progression of going from, like, your jigging, your drop shot. And the reason I threw Texas rig in here is because it is what I use to target these bigger fish. And yeah, it was just great to see that using. So yeah, so that's it for the Texas rigging. But let's take a minute to go back over these tips I've been talking about. So now's probably a good time to talk about the gear that I've been using today. I love the Street Fighter rods for the street fishing that I do. This one's a 3 to 14, the drop and jig. It's really designed for what I've been doing today, you know, a bit of drop shot, bit of jigging, and obviously it handled the Texas rigging fine, as we've seen. The reel is just a 1,000 size Warrior, up to 10 pound braid, 6 pound fluorocarbon, and we already spoke about the end tackle. The bag I've been using today is actually brand new for me. It's the first time I've used it, but I've got on with it really well. I tend to wear a chest bag for my competition street style fishing. This is his new Voyager belt bag. It's actually super handy. It's got space. It's got a huge compartment in here, another one in here, another one here for some fluorocarbons. Got low box in here. I can fit a low box in there. Got the side pockets, and yeah, find it really comfortable. Got on with it well. I can hang my net off it. As you've seen, I've got my unhooking mat on there. So yeah, really liked using that today, and I'll probably use it in my competitions going forward, to be honest. And while we're talking about gear, we may as well do the giveaway now. So we've got our brand new 1,000 size Fox Warrior reel, and also our new messenger bag. This comes with 2 low boxes in it in the medium size. There's 2 of them in there, and as well as some of the lures we've been using today. Already pre-rigged, so you don't even have to thread them on the hook. So if you want to be in with a chance of winning the giveaway today, all you need to do is subscribe to the YouTube channel, comment below what your favourite rig is for this time of year, and then we'll pick someone at random. So yeah, we're just hiding under this tree at the minute because it's absolutely lashing it down. But just to summarise really today, the perch weren't everywhere, and it was really fortunate that we started on the jig. As I was saying earlier, the jig's really good at covering ground fast. I started off on a 7 centimetre, I ended up going down to a 4 centimetre because the fishing was so tough. Started catching some really small fish, and I was getting the odd bite here and there. Once I started to sort of keen on an area a little bit, that's about the time we swapped over to the drop shot. Again, the drop shot's really good at like holding static, at fishing like slow, but because you're fishing physically slower, you know, it's much better if you're in an area that you know there's fish. So we then rolled on to drop shot, started catching more fish, went for that chunkier creech bit, like I said, try and find a bigger fish, and they really responded well to it. I caught plenty of perch on the drop shot, caught some slightly bigger ones, but then I've swapped onto the Texas. With the Texas, it then allows me to push right up into the margins. I can fish into the weed, I can fish into the rocks, and it just allows, I had an inkling today that the bigger fish, with it being relatively warm still, they might still been pushed right up shallow, and you'll find that's still the case often in January. So yeah, so we swapped to the Texas rig and managed to find them better fish by pushing in closer, by getting into the trees, under the edge lines. And you know, it was just a good day's fishing really. I ended up having probably, I think it was 4 fish over 30 centimetres, biggest probably around 37, 38 or something like that, which you can never complain on this canal. You know, I've never fished this stretch before. So yeah, despite the weather, we've actually had a really good session today. I hope you've enjoyed watching, and please do remember to leave a comment and subscribe to be entered into our giveaway. Yeah, so that's going to be it for this one. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.